A very good morning to you, sir. We are indeed very honored to meet you. So, Dr. Bhushan Shukla, sir, is a very renowned child and adolescent psychiatrist. He is also the advisors in schools such as Indira Kids, Ashoka Global Academy, and Lee Bridge International Preschool. So, he has been a child and family psychiatrist since 2008. Sir, we are very honored to interact with you and have you with us today. So, I am
Thank you.
Ayush Kataria.
And I am Arijit Kode.
We are students from grade 9 of Ashoka Global Academy.
Sir, without any further delay, can I have your permission to ask a quick round of questions?
Sure, Arijit and Ayush, go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. So, we have a question. We as students have recently heard a fresh piece of news that schools might be starting from the next month, that is September. We as students have a lot of fear in our mind regarding the social distancing and safety, security, and there are also many risks that are in these times. So, what should be our mindset or the thought process in these times? What should be the thought process exactly? Should we be positive? Should we be scared? What is your opinion and your views on this?
Arijit, the thing is that everybody is quite worried about their own safety, and that is paramount on everybody's mind. So, if you guys are feeling a bit upset or scared about the school starting, it is perfectly understandable. It's only human. I have to go to my clinic every day and through the lockdown, and we take due precautions, and so far I have been safe. But in clinic, I have the option of maintaining good social distance and hygiene and everything. So first thing is that we don't know if the schools are really going to start because the epidemic is still unfolding in India. If it has to start, I can assure you that the decision will be taken at the highest government level and the school management level, where appropriate precautions will be put into place. So, and it is not going to be back to school like how it was last year. There are going to be significant changes. How many students will attend, which standards will attend, where will they sit, how much distance will be managed, and all of this will be chalked out with the health experts in the team, and it will be made sure that you guys are safe and your safety is not compromised at any point of time. So that is the reassurance bit. But what the students need to remember is that keeping social distancing and maintaining hygiene is something that is very much within our control. So that is something that we should be aiming for. I think students will be more than happy to join the school. It is going to be the parents who are going to be really worried about it. And they will be talking about various things at home. So the message that you need to give to your parents is that people are genuinely interested in our welfare, and they'll not ignore our safety for sake of anything else. So that reassurance is very important for students and their families as well.
Thank you, sir. That was very informative. And it also changed our perspective.
Yeah. Sir, so as seniors at school, what could be our contributions towards our juniors, colleagues, and like to our school? So how can we encourage them to keep a positive mindset in our school?
So first thing, Ayush, that we have to remember is that life is never a joyride, right? You can have some periods which are great, but most of the times there are various challenges that are thrown your way. So
Yeah.
while we are dealing with the challenge, we cannot take our eyes off the long-term goals about ourselves, our education, our life, etc. So being careful, doing things right, and still maintaining a clearly positive, optimistic attitude is important. Remember, worrying about things hardly ever changes things. The only thing that is important in any kind of major change is real action on the ground. So if we stay focused on our actions, our worry and our negative emotions have no chance of overcoming us. So as senior students in the school, maybe you can be teachers, right and left hands to actually implement the distancing policy, the hygiene and everything. You can even help younger students manage these things better, who may not understand things properly, or who in their josh will be, will tend to be more boisterous and all of that. So we can go back to school, have a positive experience, without exposing ourselves or increasing our risk of infection.
Sir, you have been a frontline COVID-19 warrior. How and what was your experience in this battle or struggling times?
So, Arishit, I'm not exactly the frontline doctor. I'm a regular consultant who has kept his clinic open like all other doctors and continued practice. So far, I have not been called for COVID duty by government, but it may happen soon. I work in Pune and we have a crunch of doctors and beds here. So that may happen very soon. Though my wife, Dr. Urvi Shukla, is an intensive care specialist and she looks after COVID ICU at Symbiosis University Hospital here in Pune. They have about 500 COVID beds and 30 ICU plus high dependency beds. So she has been looking after COVID patients every day since March. They have had about 2,500 patients leaving their hospital hale and hearty. So she's really the frontline COVID worker. And the message that I receive from her is that we all take due precautions. We wear PPE. We be very careful with what we are doing. We follow appropriate treatment protocols, and we hope to get our patients out of the hospital alive on their own 2 feet and going home. As you all must have realized that recovery rate in India is excellent. 95, 97%, in some cases 98% people go home quite comfortably after their infection, no matter how serious it gets. So that is something good. Unfortunately, doctors who have been fighting COVID, who have been treating COVID patients, have also been infected. And I know 2 senior colleagues who have actually lost their life treating their patients. These doctors were senior doctors who had an option of sitting at home, but they chose to still continue their work and look after patients and have unfortunately lost their lives. So yes, there are tragedies there, but for general public, for students, for young people, the hope is absolutely high and 100% that we will come out of this at the other end. But we as doctors, we definitely need support from you to abide by the rules and keep the infection as low as possible.
Thank you, sir. We actually are very lucky that we have these warriors like you and your wife. We also have endless doctors and police and nurses who are working day and night. So we thank you very much from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you, Arijit.
Sir, so every day the main topic of conversation is like COVID-19. So and also like people switch on the news and they see the number of cases rising and the deaths rising, and also when they read the newspaper, the same thing happens. So I'm sure many people must be coming to you. So what do you do to encourage the people to keep a positive mindset and good health and hygiene to keep them positive?
Yeah, Ayush, that's a very important question, and I would love to answer that question. See, the thing is that human mind has a tendency to get attracted to negative stuff and sensational stuff. So you find people reading newspapers over and over again, going over WhatsApp forwards and watching news over and over again and doing all these things. The fact is that sitting at home, most people are really not going to do anything about COVID. Them sitting at home is really the most important thing. So probably even as a doctor, I do not read more than 10 minutes of COVID news every day. Okay, I just want to know that in my city, in Pune, what the number looks like, in my state and in my country, what the number looks like. I give about 3 minutes for reading those numbers, and I give another 7 minutes looking at the medical literature to find out where are various vaccine trials and drug trials going on. So as a regular person, I think more than 5 minutes is not the time to be dedicated to COVID news. Because the more you think about it, more scary it is going to be for you. It is important to continue doing your day-to-day work. So I continue my reading, I exercise, I have fun with my dog, I do all of other things, I do my clinical work, but never more than 10 minutes for COVID news in the day. That is my rule. That is how I protect myself.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question based on this. You mentioned that there are many fake messages regarding the news going on. So you might have also received many fake messages, and like it is normally now coming to everyone on WhatsApp and in social media. So how can we distinguish between the actual and the fake news coming in, and how can we avoid it?
Right. Arijit, again, thanks a lot for asking this question, because I think young people and seniors alike need to realize the difference between true and false. It is, we live in an information age, and that is what is said again and again. We actually live in a misinformation age, where 99 items out of 100 that come to you are actually fake news or outright propaganda. So I think it should be part of your school projects or your own personal learnings to realize how to differentiate true news from fake news, how to differentiate true science from fake science. Just because somebody says that if you drink this, your immunity will increase, you really need to go back to your Google and search exactly how immunity works. What are immunity boosters? And the particular substance that has been told to you, is there any scientific proof that it actually increases? Many times these news come to you disguised in some grand names that Harvard Medical College did this study and this is what they found. If you actually search it on internet, you may find that 99 out of 100 times Harvard Medical College did no such study. It's a total lie that is told to you. So if there is any study quoted there, there has to be a proper reference to the website and the journal where this study is published. If there is no reference with it, then it is guaranteed fake news. Something that comes to you without any further linkage, any credible evidence, is guaranteed to be a fake news. In fact, I would go by a rule of thumb and say that so much of fake news is floating around that everything that comes to you, you should assume it to be fake news until it is proved otherwise. Because truth is always hidden and you need to dig it up. Truth never stands up in front of you in the middle of the road and tells you that I am truth. You need to go after truth and dig it out. It is hidden deep somewhere. So whatever comes to you directly is almost guaranteed to be fake news.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative. Sir, like the results of many students have been released recently, and one of my friends did not get the marks he expected, and he was really very worried and was upset also. And so was I worried for him that he might not take any harsh step in his life. So, if he was standing in place of me now, what advice or what message would you want to convey to him?
Arijit, first thing is that getting success and success as we expect is a very rare phenomenon. Okay, I have been a star student through my school, my medical college, even in my post-graduation. But I can tell you that no matter what you score, it never feels enough. You always believe that you are scoring less than what you have studied or what you deserve. Rarely it also happens that you actually don't study very well and end up getting excellent marks. And this is not just about exams, this is about all aspects of life, that the amount of effort that you put in, what you expect and what you actually get are completely disconnected. But that doesn't mean that if I do not study, I'll continue to get good marks. I have to do my bit and wait for it. Another thing to remember is that how big is this exam or this particular test in my overall scheme of things? Putting it in perspective is really important. See, the thing is that parents, your peers, your school always tell you that every exam is important and you must approach it very seriously. Sometimes students end up taking stuff a bit too seriously. And then they get scared about exams. They are always worried about exam outcomes. My suggestion to you will be that try at least one exam without preparation. Okay, this is a very serious thing, and I know your principal ma'am is listening to our conversation, so I take full responsibility for my statement that before your 9th standard, try at least one exam without any preparation at all and see how much you score, so that you will know how much marks are scored by your regular studies and not just by your last minute preparation.
Yeah.
Try at least 1 year of your school without any kind of tuitions at all, so that you know how much marks actually belong to you and how much belong to tuition teacher. Try at least one exam when you have maths paper next day, but you are deliberately studying science and going to give that exam. You know, studying a different subject before that exam. because this will give you a very clear idea of how much your brain has imbibed during the learning and your self-study, and how much it is able to put out at the exam. This will take away your fear. This will tell you exactly where you stand. This experience will be more valuable to you than any mark sheet that gives you answers. So experimenting with your exams, experimenting with your studies is something that you can very well do till 10th standard without any fear at all. So remembering that this is a small exam, this is a small step, and even if I stumble and fall, there is a chance for me, I can again get up and fight another day, is an important message to remember. Failure is part of life. In fact, failure is the rule of life. Success is very occasional and rare.
That was motivating and inspiring. Sir, you gave a lot of informative and positive knowledge, and we have had an absolute pleasure to have you as a guest of honor for today and interacting with you. We also thank you for sparing your valuable time with us, and we could have certainly talked more about these current situations and the topics that prevail today. But we are sure that we would have more occasions with you like this in the future. We thank you from the bottom of our heart and from the Ashoka Group of Schools for providing us such knowledgeable and inspiring talks you gave about the topics that prevail today and that are important. I am sure that the people and students watching this webinar have been very inspired by you. Once again, we thank you from the bottom of our heart for being present here.
Thank you, Arijit. Thank you, Ayush. And thank you, Ashoka Global School.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming here and talking to our children. I'm sure they will take back a lot from you, sir. Thank you very much on behalf of Ashoka Global Academy for being with us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. All of you, stay safe, stay happy.
Thank you.
Let's meet at the other end of the pandemic very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Good day.
Good day.